everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. We are reviewing the next full moon movie, and it's called Creepozoids.
This is one of Safi's nicknames in high school.
No, it's not. Marco's just making up all this BS, and don't believe it, anything he says unless I verify it.
Why?
Because it's dumb.
Why?
So anyway, Marco, do you have the year of this? It had to be earlier because...
1987.
Oh, well, that makes sense because the computers were really old-fashioned.
This movie, I mean, you could kind of tell this movie was going to be bad. The poster kind of looked like one of those weird kind of posters that is kind of like overhyping the movie and making the movie seem like it'll be a lot like better than it actually is. Like, I don't know how to, but like, Safi, look at this poster. Like this weird, it almost looks like a...
That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it's like a fantasy type of thing.
Neither person is, like, in the movie.
You have this big buff guy, he looks like he's in a video game. You have these women with big boobs. None of the women in the movie have
no, one of them
breasts this big.
One of them has fake boobs.
How do you know?
I can tell. Anyway,
Oh,
sorry.
Well, then the monster looks weird too. I mean, I think.
Well, they're showing it to be green, but I don't remember it being green unless it's really a dark. I mean, it's so dark. It looks black to me.
Maybe it's just lighting.
Maybe.
It's just
but
like...
It doesn't look like that.
Because they have pink and purple too and everything, but this poster looks like something for a completely different movie.
I know it.
And it feels...
looks like a comic book.
Yeah, like a comic book or a video game. And so, Safi, let's talk about Creepozoids.
Okay, well, you start out right off the bat, and it kind of reminds me of another movie. I mean, there's so many...
Alien.
Well, no, not the girl. The woman in the lab coat in the...
the opening scene.
That opening scene, that reminded me of... oh, God, what was it? We saw all the movies.
Outbreak.
No, I can't remember I can't remember it right now. But anyway, it reminded me of another movie. And I just think it's weird because... she hears this tiny little scratching or skittering noise, and outside the door, and so she hears it over and over. She's working. She's like working on some kind of lab project with test tubes and other things, and she's not, she's not like, she doesn't have big boobs. She's not blonde. She's just like an average type lady doing her job. And
that was such a weird description. You're like, she's not some blonde woman with big boobs. She was just a normal woman doing her job. Like,
I mean,
what the hell?
She's not over-sexed. They have these women with, another one of the stars, who's, I guess Marco says is very well known. She has fake boobs and she's blonde. This isn't this kind of a woman. She is not blonde and have fake boobs, or at least you don't see them.
You're like,
she's not dressed.
She's a normal woman.
Low cut.
She doesn't have boobs.
No, Marco, she doesn't have a low cut outfit.
Safi,
showing everything.
All
she has
women,
a normal lab coat.
All women have boobs.
Yeah, okay.
Except for the ones that want to be men. And that's a different subject.
Okay, let's not do that.
Like
let's not do that.
Like Ellen Page.
Let's not do that. I said don't do that.
It's true.
It doesn't apply to this at all. We're
but
not. Stop!
You brought...
Let's just keep moving with
You brought boobs into
anyway,
this.
This girl is just...
You made this about boobs.
So she hears a noise. She's all by herself. And she goes, who's there? Who's there? And if you think that there might be something...
You know what's there?
A bad person outside. Why would she open the door?
Yeah, well, also...
I mean, that was just dumb.
It reminded me of Long Legs. Where she knows that the killer's in her house, and then she goes outside into the darkness with her gun, and she's shaking and breathing so loudly that the killer could hear her, and, like... That's what I'm sick and tired of these movies and things where, like these characters, they're just so clueless and dumb.
I mean, if you're all alone somewhere, anybody listening to this, if you're all alone somewhere and you don't expect anybody,
who's there?
This little skittering weird noise.
Is that the rapist? Is that the bad guy?
Would you open your door? I mean, really?
Come on in.
And then you see this big monster and attacks her.
No.
But what could the monster, if that was such a big, like what they showed in that
poster.
The thing would just break the effing door down.
Yeah.
So I mean,
well,
so that's how the movie starts.
There's two things. Number one, they probably didn't have the budget to break down a door in the set, which they could have just had the door open in the first place.
Or had it loose on the hinges or something.
And you could have shown a close-up of the claws opening the door or maybe scratching against the door and everything or something creepy like that. And number two, you know who the monster probably was, Safi?
No.
The federal booby inspector.
Oh, God.
Because that's what Safi made this movie about. It wasn't about that, and then Safi brought it into this. No, it
wasn't. But just, you have this opening scene, and I guess my question's answered with not enough money in the budget.
Well, I think...
And I mean, we know about this kind of thing, because Marco's making a movie, it's very hard to do without money.
It's just an excuse, though, for every single one of these movies. Every single one of these movies has more money than I do.
Oh, I know.
And every single one of these movies, for some reason, has to have that excuse. Oh, no, we couldn't do that in Trancers 3 because we didn't have enough money. We couldn't do that in Casino of the Damned, Haunted Casino, because we didn't have enough money. And it's just pathetic. And especially with this movie, you had a simple alien knockoff. And the big problem with this movie is that it's goofy and stupid. And you can't take it seriously. There's no scares. There's no horror in the movie. Like, they don't make any attempt to try to make things scary. Like, there's never any point to where you're like, oh, God, oh, I hope that person doesn't go down that. Oh, no, I hope the monster doesn't get... There's no point like that because it's just stupid. It's like an arcade game. At a certain point, you start laughing at the movie, and that's when a certain other creature comes in at the end, and we both laughed at this movie because it was so bad.
And they just just the next part is the whole movie. Then and you don't know what happens, where this is, or what happens with this woman. Well, she's dead. But, I mean, you don't know. So, basically, they were 3 guys and 2 girls. So, that would be 5. These 5 people are all white and probably about the same age.
And the girls have boobs.
One has fake boobs. The one that everybody knows. Anyway, between them, they're almost all stereotypes of a character that they have in these movies. But they're walking along,
Which is weird because they're doing a knockoff of Alien. The cast in the original Alien was not a bunch of stereotypes.
No.
And they were not all white at all.
No, not at all.
It was a very diverse cast. So it's weird that they took that and they're like, hey, let's just cast a bunch of white bread random people and have them be like the most generic bland characters,
and they're all the same age.
They were this movie reminded me so much of the new Alien movie. It felt like because it was almost the same movie. If you think about it, like in the new Alien movie, you had the same exact stuff happen with that thing at the end where the baby comes out and it's some kind of new monster and everything. And I really feel like this movie was the inspiration for the new Alien. Alien Romulus.
They just, it's like you go through the movie and you watch all these different things happen, and it's like you see like around every corner you see a similarity between what's happening and with some other movie you've seen.
Yeah.
And I guess mainly it's alien because the monster has an alien look, and then they're all in the military, which
the monster is such a blatant ripoff of the alien. It's kind of hilarious.
It's not even as big. In fact, at the end, it looks like it's probably at least 6 feet tall. In other words, it's just as big as a person.
It's a person in a suit.
Person in a suit, yeah. That's what you think.
That's fine, but it just wasn't intimidating or scary or anything.
But it didn't. What was funny, it didn't match the monsters they showed previously. Well, they have monster rats, and they never figure out that there's some kind of a chemical project going on in this building. And what they do is they're walking on the street, and they hear the storm coming, and they're afraid that more nuclear fallout is coming because the whole Earth has been, and they put this little writing up there that the Earth has been decimated by a nuclear war, which if you compare this to Fallout, of course Fallout comes way later, years later than this, but you could not tell that this was been attacked in a nuclear war compared to the Fallout show that was on. But I mean, this was 1980 something.
I don't think that the post-apocalyptic setting really contributed to the movie either. No. Like, it didn't really make a difference in the movie very much.
I'm wondering what it was in. Obviously they got a location, and you got to wonder what was that.
I don't know, but it just felt like an aesthetic type thing. Like, this is post-apocalyptic aesthetic in a movie. And, one of the highlights of the movie, Safi's going to love this because it's about boobs. There's this hilarious part where these two characters discover there's a working shower.
Yes,
and then later on,
the shower.
The girl shows her boobs and she's taking a shower. And it's like, yeah, that was totally the whole purpose of her being in this movie.
But I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about where's the water coming from?
Coming from the
bomb.
And
if they were in a nuclear
that's where it's coming
Holocaust, where's the water coming from? Wouldn't it be contaminated? Because it didn't look contaminated to me. It looked like fresh water.
Well, see, in Fallout, they have they have some kind of water things that they make, like water. First, they have some kind of machine they make, and then they make a water purifier. And, they actually show that, and you actually know what's going on. But with this, it's just like, oh, there just happens to be a working shower here, and, yeah.
Plus, there was food there. Real food.
Yeah.
And they had fresh fruit. And I'm thinking about Fallout again. And I hate to do that because, that's... They
did grow fresh fruit in Fallout in all the games and things. So
but in this movie, I mean, you don't know that, and so
I know.
But they have all the stuff, fresh water, fresh fruit, and this is fresh fruit. Of course, it could have been instead of real, it could have been plastic. I don't know. It didn't look plastic to me, though.
Plastic like that woman's boobs.
Marco, I'm just saying. It looks like plastic. It could have been. And so, and then when they're exploring the place, there's like dozens of doors, and they don't open them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when you're checking out a place, wouldn't you, like a detective, and also for your safety and security, wouldn't you open all those doors?
Well, and when you're playing Fallout, you want to get all the doors open so that you can get what's inside. Like, how did they know that there wasn't, like, precious, like, valuables and stuff on the insides and stuff like that, like, or more food or a map or something like that? They just were like, I mean, to be honest, like, I was really disinterested in this movie until, like, the last 20 minutes, because it was just kind of like, okay, we know exactly what's going to happen here. They're going to explore this place. Characters are going to die. A monster's going to show up. He's going to kill some people. And then one of them is going to survive and defeat the monster. The end.
And they find out where they are because there's these terrible computers. Like, I remember what the computers were like. I actually got to be on one, and it's just like that. Crappy screen, crappy green, writing. But they find out they're 400 miles of New LA. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, that's like Fallout New Vegas or something. And I'm like, what the hell? And then when this girl and guy, two of the people of the quote team, they're in that shower having sex. I'm like thinking, because of that movie we saw last year, and it had been a porn movie, and they had to change it, making it not a porn movie, but there were still pieces of it that made you think, this is a weird movie. Like, it's. I'm thinking, is this another porn movie?
No.
And they were using
That's just a sex scene. Safi.
And they were using the old-fashioned floppy disk. This is how old the computers were. But he told you it was 1984 or something. And then a guy reads a diary that's left behind, which was on the floppy disk. And he reads 2 pages of it or something. And then he starts going after whatever was in but he doesn't bother. Wouldn't you read the whole diary? So they keep, so he's going off by himself, doing an investigation, and the public, the people, the audience gets to see the rest of the diary, and the person who wrote it was diabolical and did something to make all this mess happen. But he just says something like, nobody will ever suspect me. It's just like a generic line like that, not what he did. So we don't really understand, he or she. And so I mean, you have all these things. I mean, it's just like they're not doing their job, and whatever the job is, I mean, it's just a simple act of checking out everything in where they are, like opening all the doors, etc. They don't even do the basic things, and that doesn't take extra money, does it? To open a door and just put stuff in it. I mean, they could go to the bins or the trash and get stuff and put them in the room. I mean, I just don't, I don't know.
Maybe they could only get that location if they told them you're not allowed to open these certain doors.
Maybe. I thought it was funny. A very boring and predictable movie.
Yeah.
And
there's been a lot of things that we've been reviewing recently. Like yesterday, I had to suffer through The Old Man, and like these things that are just so boring that just like you get really disinterested, and you kind of zone out. You don't know what happens because it's just like, who cares? Like, like this movie was like exactly what we knew it would be. And it was another movie that this year for Full Moon, it's really felt for almost all the movies, it's like these are movies that were made just to be made.
Yeah. They
weren't made because there was a story that they had that was interesting. And it feels like that for, I think, like 7 out of 8 of them?
Or they're 5.
Or
5.
No.
Well, it gets down to the last 2. And right now you have a monster on the loose. And you don't even know why these creatures are what they are. You don't know it says something about amino acids, and then they said maybe it's something in the air, and that affects them, and then you die, and this monster somehow grew to be a monster.
It was a boob experiment gone
wrong. You also
wrong.
have giant rats, which giant rats don't become gigantic like this, which they're as big as like a large or medium-sized dog.
Yeah, those were hilarious because they were so fake, and the people, the actors would just have to, hold them up to themselves like, oh no! Stop attacking me! And they're just shaking them around, and it's just so bad. I could definitely see people enjoying this movie if they were drunk, or or something like that. But like, in terms of like normal movie viewers, like this is not one that I would recommend. And I like monster movies. If this was good, I would have really liked it, But this was just not good. It's like something that Safi would pick out. Oh wait, she did pick it out.
How would I know? I mean, how would I know? Really? You could have a one with a weird title and it turns out to be really good. You just don't know.
Seed People was
crapshoot.
good. Remember Seed People? It was like an Invasion of the Body Snatchers type of movie.
Yeah.
That was a really good movie, even though Seed People is a very obscure title.
But out of the 5 people, you come down to the final 2. And so you're thinking, is this going to be final girl?
And I was
or
hoping.
Final boy?
Because I felt like, I liked her character more than him because...
Well, she ended up defending herself.
He didn't have boobs, and he was just really weird.
I don't know. I don't care about that.
He was a weird character. Like, you're like, okay, can we get a final girl to survive instead of this weird guy? Like, the final guy is so
Well, he's supposed to be the
weird.
team leader.
But he is just so bland and so not interesting.
Well, at first, she was like they made her a whiny, scared person who was scared of everything. And anytime she saw something, she'd scream and everybody'd come running. But then in the end, she really defends herself.
Yeah, and I kind of thought she was cool at the end, but then she just gets killed, and it's like, oh,
Yeah, but
great.
she got attacked by the other girl who got bitten in the neck by one of those rats. And it turned her into some kind of witch-looking character. It was really weird. She had a witch face, an ugly witch face. And she attacked her, but the blonde girl managed to, she was pissed. And she went after her and actually ended up pulling down a big shelving unit with tons of goods on it. And she just kept, when it fell on top of her, she just kept pushing it down real hard over and over until the girl was dead. So then you have this guy, and you think, is he the final guy or the final victim? And then you have 15 more minutes.
And you think, what's going to happen? Well, he kills the alien pretty easily. He just injects him with something, and then it dies.
Those injectors. It wasn't that convenient.
Yeah, and then after that, this is the funniest part of the movie. There's a baby that comes out of the alien.
And this is a people baby. This has a human-like face.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. And they couldn't have just painted it black, seriously. And there's this hilarious part
on it or something.
where they try to make it like suspenseful. And they keep on showing these same like 3 shots over and over and over again to the point of where you almost get motion sickness. And then all of a sudden the baby jumps on the guy and he just fights him off. And then at the end, this is the funniest part. He takes the baby's the umbilical cord thing and he wraps it around the baby's neck and strangles him to death.
But no, wait. He thinks he strangled it to death, but they show the baby at the end, and its eyes open and it's still alive.
That was really bad.
So anyway, my review, I'm just going to go ahead and give it. It's like 3-day-old leftovers.
Ew.
And
you eat those all the time,
well,
though.
maybe I should say 4-day-old leftovers, because we do eat 3-day meals. And 4-day would be way too much. I couldn't do it. 3-day is my maximum.
Yeah, I'm gonna copy Safi's food review, and I'm gonna say a couple of weeks ago, I had spaghetti that was left over, and so we had it on Sunday. It was made, and this was the following Saturday. So that was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Over a week.
That was over a week old spaghetti. and I ate it, and then I got sicker, and that's what this movie's like. It's like, it's just recycled crap.
Well, they just borrowed so many things from different movies. I realize Fallout hasn't existed yet. I don't know when the game was, but they couldn't have had the game then. There's no way. It's too early. It's the mid-'80s. It would have had to be...
Safi, that's not the only post-apocalyptic thing that's ever existed.
I know. Well, that's true. And I don't know games. But...
but movies and books, too.
If it happened after Fallout, it'd be a copy.
Like, what about The Last Man on Earth?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's tons of them, Safi.
Yeah, I've seen that one. That's with Vincent Price?
Yeah, but the book came even before that, so... You know, there's tons of apocalyptic stories. That's a genre of story.
It's been a while since I've seen that. But I
really?
I remember it. It's in black and white.
Yeah, that movie's a lot better than this.
Yes,
and
that movie is a lot better.
Most of that movie is just Vincent Price sitting around doing nothing. So... Well, so that... So our next full moon movie, now that we're done talking about this waste of time, our next full moon movie is the last one that Safi picked out, Shrunken Heads, and the poster looks...
What did you pick out? It's like you hardly picked out anything.
I picked out 5 and you picked out 5. It's just, the luck of the draw. This poster, though, is really hilarious. Safi, look at this.
That's not what Shrunken Heads look like either.
Wait, why isn't it? Oh. Yeah, look.
They don't look like that.
Look at that, Safi.
No.
That looks like you. That looks like you, and you're told you have to...
Even in Beetlejuice, they have real shrunken, looking heads.
Safi, that's what you look like when you find out that Bernie, the cat, vomited somewhere or something.
Yeah.
That's what you look like.
It happens every so often.
Why did they... What is this? Like, Safi, you picked out this movie.
Marco, just be quiet.
You better take responsibility for it.
Well, hopefully it'll be good, because everything else has been not good.
Uh-oh. Somebody said this is like... Uh-oh. Well, we'll have to find out. That's kind of weird, but... The real question is, where do we rank this Creepozoids movie? We'll have to...
Go to the bottom.
Really?
I don't know.
I don't know.
The bottom.
It might be on the bottom. I don't know. Because Magic in the Mirror was bad, but Magic in the Mirror had more of an original feel to it.
Yeah. And look, even the poster is not good.
Yeah. So, Safi?
Okay, so anyway, just finally, I recommend don't watch this movie. You're not going to get anything from it.
Unless you want to watch it while you're drunk.
Except if you want to see the way computers used to look, and I had to deal with them.
Or unless, I mean...
They're really worthless crap. I guess, but they were there because they're a precursor to what we have now. So,
and if
you have to have something to start off with. You can't have the best to start with.
If you want to see that blonde woman's boobs, you can probably see them in every other movie she's been in, too. Because I have a feeling that's what she's known for.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But she is a producer. I'm sure that's the one. She's one of the producers of the movie.
Yeah.
Which is weird. So
really?
Anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and become one of our subscribers. And tell us what you're watching. Are you planning on watching some special movies for Halloween? And are you watching the new series Grotesquerie? That supposedly is going to have Travis Kelce, but it's kind of like a horror thing done by Ryan. What's his name? The one who does American Horror Story, and who did Glee, and who likes to focus on gays a lot. Which nothing wrong with it, but I mean it was really gross. I think right at the beginning of that, there's 2 episodes out. It just started, I think, last Thursday, and one was a family, and one murder group. Their murdered people was a whole family, like parents and kids. And then the second murder, there's more than that too. I'm sure it's like a gay couple cut up in half and strung up on the wall. And I'm like,
Safi, they were just like drug addicts, and they were talking about getting a hooker.
I don't know. Oh, were they? I didn't hear that.
Oh my
I
God!
didn't know they were drug addicts, but they were really messed up. And you hear somebody. Here was another. I mean, here we are, 2024.
See, Safi just likes to see what she wants to see.
We just reviewed a movie made in like 1984.
She sees the gay in everything.
And we have, well, Ryan Murphy. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have the guy of these two guys I just talked about. This is like the second murder scene in it. He hears somebody knocking at the door, like really rapidly, like they know them and they want to talk to him. There's something going on, and he doesn't know who it is. He doesn't ask. He can't see. He can't look out a window, and he opens it.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
So I mean, just here we are, 2024. We got identical accidents.
Well,
identical stupidity.
In that case, it might be someone they know, because they say a lot of the times a crime is committed by people who the people know. So it's more excusable than
that's another thing,
the original movie.
I wasn't even thinking that. This is like something really basic I should know after everything I've read.
Yeah.
Everything.
Something logical.
But
doesn't have to do with being gay.
At least in like 2 books ago, when somebody gets knocking at the door, they don't open the door.
Really?
No.
Why not?
They lock the door and they go somewhere to a safe space in the place, and the person goes away. But the person could have done something bad. So
it's kind of like a school drill, where there's someone knocking at the classroom door and you have to hide underneath the desk, and
you're not supposed to be opening the door.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that what did you have that? I thought you all just evacuated. Did you have that classroom kind of drill?
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's a typical thing too. That's happened in a lot of school shootings. You hear about people that are hiding in classrooms and they're like, someone's knocking at the door, but I'm not even going to let them in because I don't know who they are.
I think that is part of it. Like, I've heard about that, but I didn't know you had to do that. We went through, when Marco was in school, this is how long this school shooting, SHIT, has been going on.
Oh, what's this, Safi? A piece of candy?
Oh, good.
You got pieces of candy falling out of your pocket?
Yeah, because I haven't had my lunch yet.
Oh, I haven't either. I just had my breakfast.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, this is how long this has been going on. I would go there to pick them up, and everybody be out of the school because they had evacuated the school because of a bomb threat. So that was a popular thing for a while. So people in Marco's generation and a little older, I guess even up to my older son who's a millennial, they've been going through the school shooting, SHIT, for a long time. And it's like a daily fact of life.
Safi, what is going on with you?
And having evacuated.
You're having some kind of a...
Okay, goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.